This is the goofiest argument against the evolution of the eye I've ever heard.
How did we even know that there was anything to see, that light could illuminate things and that we could grasp it?
We didn't need to know there was anything to see before eyes evolved. Just as people sometimes discover things that they didn't even know were there to be discovered, evolution can find advantages without having to know in any sense that those advantages were there to be found.
And by the way, did the eye evolve first or the brain that could receive its information?
The brain.
Was it the retina that came first or the cornea?
The retina.
Was it the flappers that came afterwards or the little spritzers that shot the water on?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'll tell you something. You people should all be buying a lot of lottery tickets because you have got a lot of faith and chance. There's no way these came together the way that they did.
There's no way these came together the way that they did? What the fuck does that mean? None of those things were produced by chance alone. They were produced by chance mutations that were filtered by the orderly process of natural selection.
It's as simple as that. I'll prove it. Let's put the rubber right to the road right now. I'm not going to get all highfalutin with different scientific arguments. I can't. I'm not that smart. I'm really quite simple. But let's see if what I'm saying is what you truly believe. All right? We're going to start the auction right now, folks. Here goes the auction right now. This watch evolved. That's right. This watch was not made by a watchmaker. It evolved. I can prove it to you because nobody witnessed it. I'm telling you, it came together and it keeps perfect time. Who would like to start the bidding at $50,000 for the great evolving watch? Anybody willing?
First of all, why the fuck would I want to buy an evolving watch? Why would that be worth $50,000? Secondly, if you can show that this watch reproduces itself and mutates, and you can show me fossils of that watch's ancestors that seem to be more complex the more recent they are, then I will believe that your watch evolved. If you can't show me that, then your analogy is dog shit.
Nobody made this watch. Believe me. No, really. Nobody made it. I'm telling you, it came together. I'm insulting your intelligence.
Yes, but what insults our intelligence is the fact that you are presenting no evidence for these claims. The mere idea that complexity can evolve is perfectly reasonable.
And so is evolution. It is an insult to just a childlike understanding of anything. It is so simple.
You say it's an insult to a childlike understanding, as though things that are confusing to children are less likely to be true. Science has discovered many things that are very counterintuitive, but which are correct nonetheless.
You gotta work real hard, to believe that nothing became something. It blew up and became everything.
First of all, I don't believe that nothing became something because I don't believe nothing ever existed. Secondly, believing that a magical ghost made nothing become something doesn't really make any more sense.
No, hell is reasonable justice.
I thought the Bible's description of reasonable justice was an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, not eternal torture in hell for an eye and eternal torture in hell for a tooth.
Do you want every criminal to walk around on the streets? No, you want them in jail.
Yeah, I want him in jail, not tortured forever.
Your conscience demands it, that lawbreakers get their due.
My conscience has never demanded never-ending torment, regardless of the crime. Such a notion is completely intolerable to my conscience.
If God did not punish, he wouldn't be loving. Don't you see how they fit?
I certainly don't see how an eternity in hell fits in with love. How can anyone possibly tolerate seeing someone they love receive infinite torture?
I'm a father. If one of my kids steals some cookies, I don't send them to the gas chamber. The punishment should fit the crime. In fact, I don't spank my kids. I wouldn't even do that. I would try to find some way for the child to learn. And even worse than that, suppose the crime of my child was that she offended my ego, that she didn't bow down and worship me. She didn't praise my name like I want to be praised. What if that was her crime and I said, I'm going to burn you? That, Todd, is not reasonable justice.
Let me share with you from Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars. This is how we test whether or not a manuscript from antiquity is authentic. Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars, written between 44 and 100 BC. Earliest copy, 900 AD. That's a 1,000-year span. Do you know how many errors can be introduced? A lot. Do you know how many copies we have? 10. Hold on. How about Plato fans? His tetralogies written between 427, 347, earliest copy 900 AD, time span 1200 years, number of copies 7. The New Testament, for your consideration, partials and fragments, when written between 40 and 100 AD. Earliest copy 125. That's a time span of 25 years. How many copies? 5,600 in the original language and 19,000 in others. You believe in Julius Caesar. You can trust the Bible.
We don't base our whole belief in Julius Caesar merely on his own writings. There are several independent accounts of Caesar and the things he did. There were also sculptures of him made during his lifetime, at least one of which still exists. Nothing that has been written about Jesus was written during his lifetime or by anyone who ever knew him. Cicero personally knew Caesar and wrote plenty about him. But perhaps Friel meant to say, if you believe Julius Caesar rather than believe in him. But even if he was referring to the reliability of Caesar's writings, many of them are about things that can be independently corroborated, and they were a first-hand account. There are no first-hand accounts of Jesus or anything he did. The historicity of Jesus is not as well established as the historicity of Caesar.
All right, one more minute. Look, debates can get so zesty and they can get really hot. And I'm not trying to come across that way. I'm passionate about this. Because I would simply plead with you. Just be simple. Lose the presuppositions. Okay, I'm not telling you to even read the Bible with the presuppositions that there's a creator and you have a conscience. I wish you would. But see, Dan approaches the Bible with presuppositions. God doesn't exist, and you can smash it, force it, contort it, and twist it any way you want to. You can do that with any literature. Just lose your presuppositions, and if you read it, it's so obvious. It's God's story of redemption for his glory.
Friel's treatment to be simple and lose our presuppositions is really a request that we abandon our faculty of judgment. Just don't think so hard. He frequently appeals to childlike understanding because apparently suspending all of your adult critical faculties is the only way the Bible will appear to make any sense.
And you'll glorify God one way or another in hell when the smoke of your torment rises before the Lamb for eternity, or you will glorify him in heaven because God has graciously forgiven you. Read it like a child and you'll see it is miraculous.
Hey Todd, how about you think like a fucking adult for once?